When we return to our planet, the High Court may well sentence you to torture.
He likes movies, we like movies. Septum Sin versus the world. Septum Sin versus the world. Septum Sin versus the world. Septum Sin versus the world.
I'd buy that for $1.
Greetings! You're watching Septum Sin vs. the World. I'm Septum Sin, this is Kotobuki Jake,
Hey.
and we're here to show you what they got. Of course, alas, no Gundam again.
No, but nonetheless, a jam-packed week, especially for all you fans of bad Kevin Costner movies and Dora the Explorer and all that.
So, speaking of, we will be in the background. Of course, last time I filmed something extra to talk about the songs in the background. So this time, the main one will be Castlevania. And of course, if you want to hear all of the next track on the list, you can either go to the Rebel Gaming Club and check it out, or you can wait till next week when I play all of that in the background.
Okay.
So, here you go, and enjoy that beautiful DVD footage right now.
Castlevania, Sunnyville Market, your crucifix, holy water. Transylvania, ain't no moonlight to the castle of Dracula. Watch me whip, and 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 watch me whip. Gothic warrior in search of skeleton keys. In the candlelight, by my vampire killer. Ah! Whip, and watch me 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 whip. And watch me whip, and watch me whip, and watch me whip, and watch me whip, and watch me whip. Castlevania, Sunnyville Market, your crucifix, holy water. Transylvania, in the moonlight, to the castle of Dracula. What do you think about Dig Dug? I don't know, but I do know that I like it. What do you think about Dig Dug? I don't know, but I do know that.
Alright, that's beautiful stuff. So, you're going to be starting us off this time.
Yes, and I'm going to start us off with some beautiful stuff. Some beautiful, expensive stuff that should not be... Aniplex has struck again.
Oh, it always does.
Get used to disappointment.
There's a series that has come out, I think, about a year and a half, 2 years ago, with a very fascinating and strange title called Rascal Does Not Dream of Bunny Girl Senpai. That one caught my attention just from the title. But it supposedly is a pretty good series. It supposedly is weird, but supposedly is a pretty good series. And of course, we're getting an American release courtesy Aniplex of America. Which means that if you rich, you can get it, if you stream, you can watch it. If you like me and you poor and you don't like to stream, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
But it's on my list. I do want it. I will look for a deal, but
You have a couple.
what's worse is there's a movie. And if Aniplex is going to do that too, then it's going to be one of them super pricey movies.
Now, if you wait till a sale, sometimes when the movies go on sale, you can get the DVD for $25.
Yeah, but I want the Blu-ray.
Oh, well, like $40.
Yeah.
But, well, since we're going to talk about Aniplex, I'll go ahead. This is one that I had debated about for a long time, which is why some of the previous releases did not get talking about. Because I had said, you know what, maybe I'm done. But then I had some other Aniplex stuff I've bought, and I just realized, okay, fine, I will try to commit to finishing this one day, as, price allows. So the second movie in the Fate Stay Night Heaven's Feel trilogy is coming out, called Lost Butterfly. This, I don't know a lot about the stuff outside. Actually, I have not watched, well, I've watched a lot, actually, because I've watched the original Fate Stay Night. I've watched the movie Unlimited Blade Works. I've watched the Fate Zero series, and I have watched the series Unlimited Blade Works. But there is a lot more to this series, and a lot of it's expensive. Like, two of those series on the list. So, it's a good series. I will eventually get it. I just don't know if I want to pay $40 to $70 for a movie. Maybe it'll come on sale. Maybe it'll be like, I'm only going to get one thing for the entire month, and it'll be this film. But if I'm going to do that, I'll probably go with Fate Extra, which is not that much more expensive. I'm getting 12 episodes at the very least. But, that's how it is.
Okay. I'm almost sure in one of our previous videos that I touched on some of my recent reading, and that's one of the reasons I decided to cover this next one. The series that I still need to watch, based on Margaret Atwood's The Handmaid's Tale, is seeing its third season release this week. I really want to watch this show. I've heard phenomenal things about it, especially the first season, but
I bet there's going to be a good sale this Black Friday.
Oh, I'm sure there will be, and I'll look forward to it. Now, it's a Hulu series, right?
Yeah.
I am paying for Hulu and not using it. I need to start using it. And, which is sad. And, like I said, I did recently read her new book, Testaments, and it's got me kind of, once again, kind of like, I really need to see the TV version. And one day.
I've seen the first season.
Yeah.
And it is really good. It does a few adaptations to bring things up to more recent culture. But still.
Although the book surprisingly holds up too well for comfort in a lot of ways.
It does. I mean, there are some ways that we could definitely go in the future that would cause this to probably happen.
Yeah.
So yeah. All right. Well, with that being said, I'm going to just go with the ones I don't have physical stuff in. So, Recovery of an MMO Junkie. This has been on my radar for a while. It's gotten a lot of cool stuff. I mean, cool things said about it. It's supposed to be really well written. From what I hear, it's a romantic comedy. And it's something that could speak close to home and, past history for me. So, it's one I've wanted, and it's got an Essentials release. So it's going to be relatively cheap, and if a sale hits it, I'm sure it's going to be even cheaper. So,
from what I understand, it's one of those rare anime that actually focuses on people who are adults.
Yeah.
and it could be interesting.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it.
I do want to see that, and that'll be a good segue into. And they actually picked a couple pretty high-profile Essentials releases this week. They're also releasing Hyuka, which I've heard a lot about Hyuka, and that's also one that is supposedly a really good series.
Yeah.
And Funimation's previous release was broken up into pieces and all
As
that
always.
stuff. So this is definitely going to be a more compact and more budget-friendly way to get it. Both of those shows are on my radar, and if I do see a Black Friday sale, they will both be very tempting.
Well, so now we get into the stuff I actually have. And we'll start with some anime because
That's a good
it's
one.
the last anime I have on my list. And that is the Hidamari Sketch Perfect Collection.
Picture perfect.
I'm not exactly sure how wide it is, but I would expect it would have to be at least a little bit wider than this.
It's probably going to be built about the same as like the Familiar of Zero or To Love Ru sets. You know, about
So-
maybe that thick.
Let me show you what's involved. First, we have Hidamari Sketch. Then we have my favorite of the series, Hidamari Sketch 365. Then we have Hidamari Sketch Hoshimitsu. And of course we have Hidamari Sketch Honeycomb.
Which I don't think I've watched that one yet.
And then finally, the special. So, or specials is really
Two
OVAs. And theoretically, I believe this came out a little bit after this, but I just put the specials at the
Yeah.
end. So, I mean, really and truly, this is a fun slice of life series, and you can get a little bit more compact. It's one that doesn't follow any particular order. I started with 365 as my starting point, and to me, I was at not much more of a loss than as if I started with the original series. Because it bounces around. Timetable-wise, it really does go from this part of the year to this part of the year, then backtracks to this part of the year. Though there are a couple of differences in the later portions. Like these last three introduce two characters that were not in these first two. So, still, it's actually quite fun. And the reason why you get to see some of the characters that graduated is because they go back and forth.
Yeah.
So if you like a series that's pretty cool slice of life, you don't mind a kind of unstable timetable, go for this. One day I might try something, and it would be great with this Blu-ray set. Get like a timetable episode guide, and then just go episode by episode. It'd be a lot of me taking a disc out, putting a new disc in.
And the girls they go to an art school, so they're art students, so that gives a nice little vibe to it. And it's a very mellow series, and I think it's the first season. It has one of my all-time favorite ending themes. It's called Mabai Drive. It's by a group called Marble. Awesome song. Awesome song. I'm going to go ahead and I'll just go ahead and lump together. We have 2 Criterion releases this week. And of course, I always mention those. They're all technically on my list. Betty Blue, frankly, I don't know much about. It looks kind of fun. The one I know more about is one that we have spoken on the past about Criterion's annoying tendency to sometimes jump on things a little too soon. Last year, Paweł Pawlikowski, I believe is his name, was actually up for a couple of Oscars, or his movie was up for a couple of Oscars. Cold War was not only up for a foreign language feature, but also cinematography. And I believe, was it Cold War that was also up for screenplay? It was up for a couple of things. And Pawlikowski is a talented director that the critics love, and it makes perfect sense that Criterion wanted to release Cold War. I really wish they'd waited a couple of years.
And the greatest thing is it's during the sale.
Yes, they are releasing. Their sale is going on. So if you want to get Cold War and you'd rather not pay premium prices, this is a very good opportunity to get it. From what I've heard, it sounds like a really good movie, and I really do want to see it. I wish they'd waited a couple of years.
Yeah.
But, whatever. Both of these films will be out during the sale. So look forward to it.
So, my next one is also a re-release. Synapse Films is doing another release of the original Suspiria, the Argento classic. And of course, if you haven't, you should check out our Suspiria discussion on Inside Movies Galore. It kind of pushed your boundaries a little bit, didn't it?
Not so much his as the remake. The remake did. I was surprised. I find Argento's almost tame in a lot of ways.
Very artistic.
It was. Yeah.
And this is the version I have. It's also the Synapse release. I actually prefer this cover. It is a cool cover.
It is a cool cover.
And the other one that's got like sort of live action figures on it. So I'm not as big on that. Let me see if I can show you.
Yeah, it's kind of a dull cover.
Yeah, you can see it's not quite the live action, but it's a much plainer cover.
Yeah, it is.
So I thought it was. I like this much better. But to each their own. At least you've got a better chance at it because I believe this might be out of print, which would probably be a reason why it's back in print now.
Yes, and be a good opportunity for those Argento fans out there to get one of his better known films.
Yeah.
And again, check out our discussion. It was pretty in-depth from what I remember. Pretty interesting. My last two, I'm going to do them one at a time, but they have an interesting common thread. And that is the going back to the well many, 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 many years later.
Yeah.
It seems to be that lately everyone's going back to the well for everything. Check out our vlogcast for me to rant on one of those for a couple of minutes. Actually, I'll go ahead and throw it in here. They're talking about remaking Scream.
Oh yeah, they're doing a new movie.
What?
I have some people who are really, really happy about that.
Why? By definition, that should never happen.
But the TV show had been going strong, so a lot of this might be more related to that than the current.
Yeah, but anyway, two examples of going back to the well that I was excited about are both getting some releases this week. The first one is the 4th season in the Full Metal Panic franchise. Way back at the start of the aughts, we had some great KyoAni drawn productions of Full Metal Panic Fumafu, and Full Metal Panic The Second Raid. And they are great shows. They're a lot of fun. They're gorgeous animation, interesting characters, phenomenal music, just really great. A couple years ago, we got out of nowhere a new series called Invisible Victory. And now it's coming out on home release. So I'm excited. I will be picking it up, but I may be waiting for a sale. But I am going to get it.
So I've got two myself that are kind of repackagings. Now one of them is called Farscape. It's getting a full Blu-ray release. Now this is kind of cool. I like this because I do have the original Farscape edition there. It's kind of a cool sci-fi show that had a lot of puppetry and pretty good makeup. I enjoyed it. It's kind of this, almost a Guardians of the Galaxy type rogue cast. I don't know, did you get to see any of this?
I did not. It's always been on my radar and just,
Unfortunately, it ended abruptly.
They all do.
But they got the chance to come back and finish it up with the Peacekeeper Wars. Now this set has all of this in one. Finally, it's all together. And for that, I'm very grateful. Too bad I already have it. And I got it for a really I got this for a really cheap price.
Nice.
I got it at Movie Stop back in the day, which was good.
Ah.
And this was next to nothing. It was really cheap. I got it for like $5.
I bet.
But
Well, the new one might save you some space.
yeah, but still, I don't know if I want to go through the problems.
Right.
But at the same time, it is worth getting if you haven't gotten it yet. I enjoy it. I went through a fairly recent thinning of my TV series collections. Took a lot of stuff that I had a semi-attachment to, but then thought to myself, either one, it's too much trouble, or two, I like the first season and the rest of it sucks. I almost did that with Glee. But Glee has too much of an attachment, even though I only really like the first season of Glee.
I don't know, I like the second season.
I liked a couple episodes in the second season,
Right.
but for the most part, I really kind of was just like, meh. We watched that whole thing as it came out.
No, well, we got to what, about season 3 or 4 or something like 4, I guess.
Well, yeah.
I know I didn't see the last couple seasons. Anyway, so my last one is another. This one's a little different. This is not a continuation. It's a reboot of one of the classic series, which also came out around the time Full Metal Panic came out. That was pretty much for a large portion of the anime populace, probably the group that got into it around when you did. It was considered one of the shoujo series. I'm talking, of course, of Fruits Basket. And Fruits Basket, the first series, it had some issues with direction. They got a little... they could have directed it better. But overall, it's still a really nice series. A very charming, sweet little series that ended in the middle of the freaking story.
Yeah.
Not even the middle of the story.
Oh gosh, it went on for a lot longer.
Yeah, I think it was like the first quarter of the story. It does end at a logical stopping point, but there's so much left to tell. So rather than ever do a sequel, here we are,
Starting over.
17 years later, with a brand new series.
And a new tone.
And a new tone. And they are doing, I've seen, little bits I've seen is gorgeous
I've
series.
seen the first 13 episodes.
Yeah.
The tone is much more serious. It's not as comedic as they had in the original, at least to my reckoning.
It's supposed to be closer to the manga with the assistance of the original mangaka.
I still haven't completed.
I've read a fair bit of the manga. I lost track of where I was, and I need to go back. But it's an interesting series if you're not familiar with it at all. It's about a girl, Toru Honda, who ends up living with a very strange family, the Soma family, who are afflicted with these curse of the Zodiac. 12 members of the family are the members of the Zodiac, and the 13th is the cat. And the cat, the dog, and the rat are living together with Toru in... It's a very fascinating series, and from the picture you posted, I'm guessing Funimation's putting out a really fancy...
Oh, yeah. They put out a massively fancy set.
I kind of want to get that, but I don't know if I will.
13 episodes.
Yeah. Well, does it include, is this one of those ones where you can slide in the second half?
I guess it would have to be. I mean, that box looks huge.
It does, but I'm sorely tempted. But if not... If you want to wait for a less impressive set, there will be re-releases and probably re-releases on re-releases.
I'm going to guess that there's going to be... Funimation, if it sells well,
all right,
they do a repackaging after about a year and a half of a single season.
And Fruits Basket will sell
So Season 1 will have a Season 1 set, which will be Parts 1 and 2. So you'll be paying the same amount for one season, as you would for one part of a season. And it'll keep going. I don't know whether they're going to plan on finishing the story with this, but I'm hoping so.
I think they're planning on it.
I mean, they did finish the manga, right?
Oh, yeah.
This was the issue with the Hunter x Hunter reboot. They had planned to keep it going, but because Hunter x Hunter's mangaka has such a bad health record and a lot of stop and go, it's just wasn't.
I'm pretty
to be.
sure Fruits Basket's long since finished.
Yeah, I think it has finished, but like I say, like Hunter x Hunter is still not finished yet, and my thought is it may not. The writer may pass before it ever gets completed.
Knock on wood, that won't happen. But anyway, so yeah, that's one to look forward to, definitely. And that's all I have for this week.
Well, there is a set, another repackaging of the Abbott and Costello Universal Pictures collection. It's, I mean, I'm going to show you this. As you can see, this is what it looks like. Shout Factory released it again. And compare that to what I've got.
You got a cool looking set.
I mean, I'll show y'all this as well. But he's looking at what I've showed y'all, and now this is what I have. Same thing.
Yeah.
It's just, it's a repackaging.
Yeah.
It fits probably better on a shelf.
From the look of the picture he's got there, I'm thinking that will be much better for the shelf.
But you can see, it's a pretty cool looking collection.
Yeah.
And it's got all of the essentials. Now, I've got some of them, like Abbott and Costello versus the Mummy and stuff like that in my other Monsters collections. But still, I do need to see more Abbott and Costello.
Yeah.
You've got the show.
I've got the show.
movies.
That was one of my best pickups ever. That show is out of print. You can get it for like 80, 90, 100. It's a lot of money.
Yeah.
I found it at Movie Stop for $3. I loved it. And I've watched it. It's a good show. It's a lot of fun.
You showed me a couple episodes of it.
And this, some of these movies I grew up with, like Abbott and Costello Meet the Invisible Man, Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein, Africa Screams. I mean, you know, those are some good.
And I
is
got this
Africa
for a good
Screams on
price.
there?
Let's see here.
Oh, does that have the listing?
It does.
Okay.
Let's see here. It's got one Night on the Tropics.
Oh yeah,
Buck
Dr.
Privates,
Jekyll and Mr. Hyde was a good one.
In the Navy, Hold That Ghost, Keep 'em Flying, Ride 'em Cowboy, Pardon My Sarong, Who Done It, It Ain't Hay, Hit the Ice, In Society, Here Comes the Coeds, The Naughty 90s, Little Giant, The Time of Their Lives, Buck Privates Come Home, The Wistful Widow of Wagon Gap, Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein, Mexican Hayride, Abbott and Costello Meet the Killer Boris Karloff, Abbott and Costello and the Foreign Legion, Abbott and Costello Meet the Invisible Man, Coming Around the Mountain, Lost in Alaska, Abbott and Costello Go to Mars, Abbott and Costello Meet Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, Abbott and Costello Meet the Keystone Cops, and finally, Abbott and Costello Meet the Mummy. So it does not have the one you're looking at. Maybe it was not a Universal Pictures release.
I think they had about 7 or 8 that were not with Universal, but
you
still,
get like
that's an impressive set.
There's a lot in that set.
Yeah.
I got this one for like $20 when I got it.
Nice.
So it's not as good a deal as you got. It's still not too bad.
It's better than, I just looked it up. Amazon currently has this one on sale for $70, which is not a bad price for what you get.
That's a lot of movies.
Yeah.
A lot of bang for your buck.
Yeah.
So with that being said, I hope you've enjoyed this. Click like if you enjoyed the video.
Yep.
Hit that subscribe button. And of course, share. Because sharing is caring. So we'll see you in the next one.
Goodbye.